You know what it is? That text sound? That means it's Boston has entered the chat. He's Travis Thomas. I'm George Balekji. T's holding it down in our PNC Bank studio. I'm remote out in Strong Island, a.k.a. Long Island. And the reason I'm here, Trav, I just got to, I had this revelation today.
Yeah.
So, you know, I had a nephew. He was born. He's now 8 weeks old, and it's awesome, right?
Baby Luca.
So, yeah, baby Luca. Luca Maddie. That's his name. Maddie's actually the middle name, not Matthew. It's awesome. He's great. He's adorable. But right before we hopped on to record this podcast, this edition of Boston has entered the chat, my sister goes, hey, I'm going to walk the dog. Heard my brother-in-law. They're like, he's napping. Just watch a monitor. I know you don't have to work yet. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool. You'll be back in 10 minutes. No problem, right? Second the door closes, that blood-curling cry. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe he'll go back to sleep. He'll go back to sleep. No, a minute passed. I'm like, all right, let me pick him up. I pick him up. He stops crying. It's awesome. And I'm in the rocking chair. He's just staring into my eyes. I'm staring into his. And I go, all right, now I get it. I get it why people want babies. This is the coolest thing in the world. I love him to death. I will take a bullet for him yesterday right now. I'll take 10 million bullets for him.
Yes.
But then they get back and that blood-curling scream returned. And she was like, oh, he's hungry. And this is what it's been the last 24 hours I've been in Long Island.
Yeah.
Naps, wakes up, cries, eats, and it takes a half hour, 45 minutes for him to eat.
Yep.
Then you play with him for a little bit. He poops. You change his diaper. He naps, and revolution.
Yeah.
I love being an uncle. I think my calling is being an uncle because that cry, bro. I'm thinking about you with your 2 kids. I'm thinking about our director, Jay. He has twins. Parents out there, moms are warriors. You can't say enough what they do. But parents in general, the amount of time and I'm good, T. I think I'm good.
I don't think you're good. Listen, I think what I'm hearing here, my friend, is someone who struggled with babies. I'm a monster when it comes to toddlers and older. I'm the best dad ever. But with babies, forget about it. I was a lost, sad puppy. You, sir, what I'm hearing nurturing. I'm hearing loving. I'm hearing comforting, caring, the craft of a George Balekji. It is beautiful. You are ready for fatherhood, brother. Come on, let's get it. Let's do it. Let's make George a daddy. Woo! Come on, big daddy.
Thank God my parents, my in-laws don't know how to listen to podcasts because you will be dead in 2 minutes. I'll tell you that. So let's get to what's trending after Trav dropping that. The MLB is reportedly weighing 6-inning requirement for its starting pitchers. I hear this. I think more runs. I also hear this, and I think MLBPA will be hell to the no. Next CBA is up in 2026. There's no way this gets cleared. But what do you think of this? 6-inning requirement for starting pitchers. The only way you can take them out early if they hit 100 pitches, 4 more earned runs, or there's an injury, of course.
Listen, bro, I agree with you. You and I both know the truth. This will never happen. So for the sake of the conversation, I love it. And I wish it was happening. I do, George. I wish it was happening. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of all the nerds ruining baseball. I hate the bullpen and we're just going to trot a guy out for 5 seconds. He's not really our starter, but then we're going to bring out the other guy and then stop. I mean, let's go back to the old days. I remember dudes cussing out the skipper when he came to the mound late in the 7th or 8th inning to get him out of there. And him saying, I still got something in the tank, Skip. Get out of here, you bleepity bleep. I'm going to finish this game. I mean, now you get this nonsense, these scratch starters. Please, I wish this happened. I just don't think it's going to, and we both know it won't.
We won't see this before the next CBA or the CBA after.
No.
I get it. I mean, dude, think about Pedro back in the day pitching for the Red Sox. He's had 115 pitches, and he's arguing with his pitching coach, why are you taking me out? They're like, you're at 115 pitches.
So
dude, I mean, we grew up in the golden era, right? I remember you would go to certain games because certain starters would pitch. That's lost its lore because you may not see them go 6 innings. But I don't want this to happen because the amount of injuries we're going to see. It's the development of pitchers today. It's how kids are being brought up through travel baseball to the minors, through college, and now even being a prospect through a farm system. They're not built to hit 100 pitches. They're not built to see a lineup 3 times. I think this would backfire so bad. Now, if they set it up for success by going, hey, this is going to come down in the next, 3 CBA, so 12 years from now, then that can change. But if it happens, it will be terrible for baseball because the good starting pitchers that are out there will all have their elbow injuries. Chris Sale went against Tariq Skubal the other day. Yeah. That was the 2 best ERAs in baseball. That felt like you got to tune in. This is the matchup you want. It looks great. Yep. That's a dime a dozen now, or that's a rarity. Excuse me. And you don't see it as much. So it's lost that. I understand baseball wants to bring that back. You want pitchers to come back because you need something where it becomes, appointment television. Yep. But it would backfire because those guys wouldn't make it through the season. Talking about MLB, 28-year-old ex-Major League Baseball player Monte Harrison will play in college this year at Arkansas as a walk-on freshman.
Bro, he's damn near 30. I mean, what in the Van Wilder is going on here? Look, we've seen this in history before. Drew Henson, Chris Wenke, they played baseball.
Brandon Whedon.
Yeah, Brandon Whedon. They were old as hell, but I don't know. I look at this. I'm not shocked by this because we've seen those examples, throughout time. But I always I can't help but to put myself in this position, George. At 30, bro, I was just a different dude than I was in college. And in fact, although it would be fun, and I recognize that, I don't think I would want to do it again. I had so much fun in college, bro. This is how much fun I had, George, in college. I knew as I was living it, as I was present, I knew I'd never have it again. I knew it. It was too good to be true. I knew damn well that by the time I hit 30, there was no way I was going to be pulling all-nighters, doing all the things I was doing, and then be able to sleep in the next day, no big deal, get up and do it again. I knew damn well that wasn't going to exist. So I see stories like this, and I immediately, George, think about, man, 30-year-old Trav ain't trying to live college again, man. It's no damn freshman. I just wouldn't even be interested in this. Obviously, from an athletic standpoint, he'll have a big advantage because he's a grown-ass man. But I just mean lifestyle-wise, George. I can't even think. Now I'm way past this age, but I can't even think of doing half of the stuff I did in college right now. Right now, George, I would drop dead today if I did half of the things I did in college.
Yeah, you're 40 plus, bro. Of course. Not to be mean to you. I love you, but no duh. But I think with this guy, though, he's 28. He was in Major League Baseball in the farm system more of. He's still at his athletic peak. And what I think is brilliant, $1.8 million signing bonus is what he signed when he was drafted coming out of high school. He was, I think, a 4-star wide receiver recruit in Missouri. And after playing only 50 Major League Baseball games, he's like, hey, NIL's a thing? Cool. Go be. He's 6'3", 225, with adult man-ass strength.
Right.
If he's halfway decent at Arkansas, who loves their college football, NIL from Walmart, NIL from whatever bar on Dixon Street or whatever it's called. I think it's Dixon Street. He's just getting the bag one more time, and then he could become a football coach or a baseball coach after this. And you said it too. Is this Van Wilder thing? Yeah, bro. Imagine being 28 around a bunch of 21 and 22-year-olds that don't got game. This guy is brilliant. Monte Harrison is a genius.
George, what'd you say his signing bonus was? So he has money too?
He made $2.5 million over his baseball career.
Oh my God.
Wasn't a good baseball career at all. Then he's going to come out and he's going to make 6 figures more to play. And he's a true freshman. If he can hold his body together for 2 or 3 years, then he's making, let's say, $120,000 a year minimum. But again, it's Arkansas, and if he's good, they pay at Arkansas.
Time out. You're talking about when it's over, this guy can be a coach or he could be a this or that. Brother, he could have a 30 for 30 on him too, because this could go terribly wrong. First of all, we just talked about some of the things we did in college that we ain't going to do anymore, right? So now you're telling me this 29-year-old dude has money and he's hanging around these kids. He could get into no good too, George. And this could be of movie epic proportions. He could have a 30 for 30 at the end of this too. He could be a what not to do with your life at the end of this too. We don't know. We just got to watch it play out. Because I'm telling you right now, GB, if I go back to college and I'm damn near 30 and I got money, oh, hell no. It'll be a 30 for 30 on my butt. I'll tell you that right now, because I'm messing everything up.
Hey, either way, Arkansas is a fun as hell place to do it. It's not like he's going to school at Oklahoma State or at, I don't even know, Idaho or Boise State. No. Arkansas, if you're going to do it, that's a place to be. You've never been to Dixon Street and his shows. I'll take you there one day, brother.
Oh.
It is one hell of a time.
Pig
All
suey.
right, talking about guys playing for new teams. Let's get into it now on the Matt Judon trade. The Patriots and the Matt Judon era has come to a close. Patriots trading Matt Judon to the Atlanta Falcons, getting a third-round pick in return. The Patriots are getting a third-rounder back for Matt Judon, a future third-rounder, of course, from the Atlanta Falcons. I think this trade is great. The Patriots to get a third-round pick for Matt Judon, who it came out, by the way, won't agree to an extension by the Falcons. Like, there's no money after at this point. I think that's fantastic for them. You get a third-rounder for an age 32 pass rusher coming off a major injury, although it's not his legs. But nonetheless, this guy was no chance going to be in New England when they're good and relevant again. He went through a hold-in. He got public. It got ugly. Things looked toxic as hell. And it looked to the point of, well, everyone's going to know the Patriots have to get him out of there because he's an unhappy superstar. They're not going to get much. A third rounder? I'm sorry. Another top 100 pick? Yeah. So this is a team that's on schedule to be a top 3, top 5 pick in next year's draft where they need a left tackle. Second round, they should go wide receiver. And then 2 third-round picks. These are assets they can use to continue to build up this roster that has a lot of holes in it, or use both those third-rounders to move back up into the second. The Patriots made out lucky on this one. I'll say that. The Patriots made out lucky that the Falcons were dumb enough to give a third-round pick for a 32-year-old pass rusher that they won't sign for another contract after getting him to Atlanta.
I disagree that it was dumb. Here's where I agree.
He should be a fifth. He's not. But he's not. He's a rental. He's a rental.
I agree.
Chase Young, a better pass rusher at a younger age, was a third-round pick for the 49ers that they gave up. This should have been a fifth rounder. He's old. Yes, he can still produce, and it's a biceps injury. But, man, the Falcons, you got to extend him after this. I get it. They're going all in. They invested so much. But this price, I am shocked they got a third rounder. This should have been a fourth-round pick at best and incentivized base. This should have been a fifth that could become a fourth.
Yeah, we've laid that out on Foxborough Rush, which all of you should check out, by the way. The latest episode, you could tune in to Nesson's YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you get your podcasts, and make sure you follow us on all your social media accounts for all of our best content as well. You and I have gone through this on Foxborough Rush many, many times, and we did agree along the way. You get a fourth rounder for this. I mean, you're doing a great job in terms of compensation. But here's why I say it's not dumb, okay? First of all, Elliott Wolf deserves his own day here in New England for getting a third rounder. We agree on that. That's a miracle that they got that.
It's dumb for the Falcons. I don't think so.
I don't think so. Here's why. So first of all, Elliott Wolf deserves credit for getting the third. I was shocked he got a third, but I don't think it's dumb from the Falcons. Here's why, George. Everyone dropped the ball here on both sides for Matthew Judon's point of view. I'll explain that in a minute. As far as the Falcons go, listen, that division sucks. So good on them. They gave up a third. Hell, I'd be willing if I were the Bears, because the rumors were that the Patriots chose the Falcons over the Bears, who were also offering a third-round pick. But they thought the Falcons would be a higher pick, and I would agree, than the Bears will be. But if I'm the Bears, I would have gave up a second to put Judon next to Montez Sweat. Here's why I say the Falcons, it wasn't a dumb move. Their division sucks so bad, George, that by getting Judon now, solidifying that defense with a defensive-minded head coach, by the way, they're going for it. They're going to try to win that crappy division. And listen, if you win that division, you get in the playoffs, we'll see what happens. But you have to win the division first, get a home playoff game. That's why I don't think it's dumb. I would have been willing to go higher and go second if I was the Chicago Bears, but that's another topic for another day. Who cares about that? Here's where I say Judon. You want to use the word dumb? Let's insert it here. Matthew Judon's team. And I'm not talking Falcons or Patriots. I'm talking about his peeps, whoever he has around him, guiding him, right? Giving him wisdom, sort of being his consultant, whether it's an agent or a manager or all the above. They dropped the ball. You got fleeced, bro. You should have just stayed in New England if you weren't going to get money. This whole thing was about money. And you mean to tell me your team and you, Matthew Judon, you got to take some accountability here too. I mean, you were the guy at practice pouting, right? You were the guy in Gerard Mayo's face and Elliott Wolf's face about getting paid. That was you, Matthew Judon. So you and your squad allowed a trade to a contender, nonetheless. But
yeah, he's going to a playoff team. This is great.
No beef there. But, bro, I wouldn't give a damn where you trade. You could trade me to the Utah Jazz in a whole different sport. I wouldn't give a rat's patootie unless there was money on the other end, because that's what started all this. You allowed this to happen without a deal in place with where you're going? So
he doesn't have a no-trade clause.
So it doesn't matter. You're forcing the hand of your current team. You're the one, Matthew Judon, talking about you don't want to leave. You want to be here. You want to get paid. He tweets after the trade he's heartbroken. BS. You cannot allow yourself to go somewhere and your team to allow you to go somewhere where you can't at least have a damn agreement, a gentleman's handshake or something. Hey, we're going to take care of you when you get here. The Falcons came out publicly, very loudly, very quickly. We ain't paying them. We this is a rental, baby. We trying to win. We got a great pass rusher for a third-round pick. Good luck with your money. I mean, this is Matthew Judon and his camp dropped the ball, not the Falcons. I think the Falcons were smart here acquiring him, and now they don't have to pay him. Even smarter, George.
The Falcons are smart for acquiring him because they have a very, very quick window with Kirk Cousins playing at a high level and with all the weapons around him, talking about all the guys they have on the outside and their dynamic playmakers and the receivers to get him the ball to. Right. A bunch of them under cost control. Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, and of course Drake London. Then they bring in Darnell Mooney. They're dumb for giving up a third, but obviously with the Bears coming into it, it makes sense. That drives up the price.
Right.
But for Matt Judon, it doesn't matter if he's getting paid or not because either way he's going to be a free agent at the end of this season. Would you rather be a pass rusher on the Patriots where teams are going to be kicking your ass, throwing the ball less because they're going to have the lead because your offense sucks and you're not going to get the numbers? Or would you rather be on a playoff team in Atlanta with a better quarterback, an overall better situation, still playing for a defensive-minded head coach? And by the way, for an Atlanta Falcons defense, now with Justin Simmons and Jesse Bates as their safeties, A.J. Terrell as an outside corner, 3 of their top 4 picks in this past draft, all on the defensive line, a good front 7. But guess what? You are the guy as a pass rusher. If he goes out and puts up another 14, 15 sack season, or just gets 12 or more, he'll get paid one more paycheck, one more deal, probably 2 years after this one. If you are going to be a free agent after the season, no matter what, because you're so far apart on both sides, would I have rather gone to the Bears if I was him because I think they're in a better spot? Maybe, but that's a rookie quarterback. I think he won this whole thing because if he got paid, sure. If he got paid by the Pats, that's what he wants. You want that guaranteed money. But if you're not going to get paid, at least he ended up in a situation like Atlanta. They could have looked at him and go, you're going to Vegas, which wouldn't be that bad to be living out there. Or they could have looked at him and go, you know what? We're going to send you to the Saints, or we're going to send you to the Panthers. No, he ended up in Atlanta, which is in a good situation. That's a good roster there with the key pieces. Offensive line's taken care of. Dynamic playmakers are taken care of. Got a good quarterback in Kirk Cousins that can execute in the system because their offensive coordinator comes over from the Sean McVay tree, which is the same as Kevin O'Connell. Judon won in this. He could have went about it a lot better. Maybe they've been more inclined, but I think they weren't going to pay him no matter what. This is a guy that was not going to be in New England when they're in the playoffs again. Did he look immature? Did he handle it bad? Did he have to stop? He should have stopped lying about the Twitter thing. We know he runs it. We know you run it, Matt Judon. You run your social media. Should he have shown up a rookie head coach on the practice field? No. But he still ended up in a playoff situation on a far better team than what the Patriots are. And no matter what, he'll be a free agent after this season.
George, this never was about winning. It was about money. That's why
and he wasn't
going to
get it either way. So at least you win and you get on a playoff team while you're there.
That's no guarantee for that. Listen, I'll go back and answer your original question, which was, if you're Matthew Judon, would you rather stay here and not win on a young, struggling team or go to Atlanta where you have a chance? It was never about winning for him, ever. So if that's the case, if he was complaining his way out of town because he wants to win and it's the end of his career, I would respect that more. He made it about money. So my answer to your original question, if I'm Matthew Judon, is I'd rather stay here because now the Patriots have over 100 M's in cap space next season. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to stay here with these young pups, show you again I'm a leader, show you again I'm able to stay healthy, coming off an injury, of course, show you I am, again, still the man on your defense. Now, since you didn't pay me last offseason and I was upset, and you gave me, before Belichick left, a little bit of hush money so I wouldn't be upset, now I'm really going to hit you over the head with this 100 M's that you got. Give me my money. That's what I would do because that's what Matthew Judon made it about. It was never about winning with him, ever. It was always about the money, which is why I say he fumbled the bag in Atlanta too.
But if he's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season, you know what he could do? Still get paid by New England. He's not locked in with Atlanta. And he can even leave and go, hey, how's your defense doing without me and Christian Barmore? You lost CB90. Well, you lost Matt Judon too. You lost Red Sleeves, your biggest star, your biggest player, your biggest name, the guy that sells tickets. And now when you have this cap space, you want me back? Look, I showed you I'm healthy. A different team paid me because by him going to Atlanta, remember, he wouldn't get $1 from the Patriots until week 1. That bumped their cap space back up to $50 million this season, and they can roll it over. They just have to spend the floor of 90% over the next 3 years. They're going to have a boatload of cash. They're going to go out and they're going to have to sign an elite playmaker on the outside, like a T. Higgins. I don't think CeeDee Lamb becomes available. I think they'd have to trade for him, but someone like that, they'd have to go out and sign an elite receiver. They're going to draft an offensive tackle. All right, where are you spending your money after that? They have so much. You bring in a guy you already know. Yeah, I know it's about money for him, but if you're not going to get your money either way, I'd rather be playing winning football in a good culture with a coach that has experience like Raheem Morris at the position of being a head coach and be in the playoffs than be wasting away in Foxborough, freezing your ass off, winning only 5 games. And you know what happens to the Patriots now? Trev, this season, they're facing Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers, Brock Purdy, C.J. Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. Allen twice, of course, along with the guys in their division. Outside of that, Anthony Richardson, Tua Tagovailoa in that system, Caleb Williams and your Bears. Oh, and Geno Smith, who can ball. We'll see how the Seahawks look. The Patriots are now a 3 or 4 win team. I was optimistic. I think this defense can get it done. I think they can win 6 or 7 games. Barmore is out indefinitely. Matt Judon, your best pass rusher, is gone. Get the hell out of Dodge if you're a good player and you want to get paid and hit free agency, is which Judon wants, because that onslaught of quarterbacks they're going to face, if you can't rush the passer, because we have to see how Keon White does, we have to see if Josh Uche is better than a third down specialist. Shoot, Christian Barmore blows the pocket up from the interior, which is so valuable to a defense. This is going to be ugly for the Pats. Yeah. It's going to be a bad year. And you know what they do? Why the Patriots win again? Because not only they get a third rounder, you trade Judon, this is a top 3 pick team. Mm-hmm. And you can say, well, you know, they really need a receiver. People are talking about that. Their offensive line looks so bad, and their left tackle situation is so dire that, you know what, the fans got to start getting ready, because there's a kid, 6'6", 320, Will Campbell out of LSU. Woo. You get that left tackle, a kid that started at LSU since he was a true freshman. Then you have your quarterback and your left tackle under cost control. Go out and pay a receiver, draft another. This is a long-term play by the Pats. The Patriots won with this, and Matt Judon won, in my opinion, because he went to a winning situation.
You're already scouting offensive linemen. You are a sick man.
I texted you. I'm down the rabbit hole. Trey Harris out of Ole Miss should be the receiver they pick. 6'2", 205. Catch radius, length, strong hands. Tough to bring down, especially in his tape against LSU. He high points of football, good on 50-50 balls. Could be a little quicker and better with his route running. But Trey Harris out of Ole Miss, 6'2", 205. That's a guy's Elliott Wolf likes. Will Campbell, 6'6", 320. This will be his 3rd year starting left tackle. Hasn't missed a snap since he was a true freshman. Watching him against Will Anderson. Good one-on-one. Doesn't get beat on the first move. His hands can get sloppy. Could hold. And against flexible pass rushers, he has trouble, especially against his outside shoulder. But he's athletic. He's fluid. Good footwork. Great base. Great anchor. Great leverage. You know what it is, Trav.
I mean, honestly.
That's what the Patriots did with this trade, man. We knew it. Gerard Mayo said it's a foundation year. With this trade, it's all about 2025.
I mean,
yeah, they're taking you full screen now because they just want to show the disappointment.
No.
Bring me up. Bring me back up,
this
Trey.
This is what
Trey,
it
hold
is.
Hold on. Give me my two boxes. Look at me, Trav. Look me in the eyes.
Look
it's
at me.
all about 2025. You do it.
I'm the captain now. Look, this is why they're showing me, because the truth is, if Bill Belichick had just simply had you as a draft consultant or let you GM this team, he'd still have a job. George, you are a sick man. I mean, if you cut you right now, draft prospects will come out of you. Not blood, draft prospects, brother. I mean, hey, man, my hat's off to you, brother. Much respect.
Just don't get caught up in those top receivers. They need a left tackle, but this defense got a lot worse. Be it crashing to reality. You have a good secondary. No Christian Barmore. No Matt Judon. This will be a 4-win team at most. Get ready, Patriots fans. So about 2025, and be patient with Drake May. You know who doesn't have to be patient because they have a quarterback?
Who?
The Miami Dolphins. We had our boy, Marcel Louis-Jacques from ESPN. Really Travis's boy on the back end of this one. You tell him how we met. But let's throw it over to Marcel Louis-Jacques. We asked him about Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, and more. Check it out. Tua Tagovailoa with the 4-year, $212 million contract, $167 million guaranteed. Is there all-around buy-in on this guy, obviously from the ownership, but around the team that he is the quarterback that can lead them to a playoff win and more, because we know that's the expectations down in Miami?
George, you got a $212.1 million.
Ooh, don't forget that point.
That .1 was important because it put him .1 over Jared Goff's exact contract. So we can't forget that .1. But no, they do believe in him. They absolutely believe that he is their guy. You know, obviously they dragged their feet a little bit there, and you would have liked, if you're a Dolphins fan and if you're Tua's people, you would have liked this deal to have gotten done, months ago. It's something that both sides have been interested in for 2 years now. They essentially tabled talks last offseason after his 2022 injury-riddled year. Then they told him, look, we need to see you last an entire season. We need to see you healthy. You have not been able to stay an entire season, stay healthy for a full 17-game stretch yet. So he did that. He led the NFL in passing. He led them to the playoffs. From his perspective, it's like, well, what more do I have to do? You could see the kind of frustration in his face as well during minicamp, where there wasn't a deal done. And he's like, this is not progressing as fast as obviously I would like it to progress. But, the Dolphins did get it done. And kudos to them. They've had a lot of mouths to feed this offseason. They obviously let Robert Hunt and Christian Wilkins go, but it wasn't just Tua that needed to be signed. Jalen Waddle got a new deal. Raheem Mostert got a new deal. And then, of course, Tyreek Hill got additional money added onto his deal. No extra years. But there's a lot of people to take care of. There's a lot of stars in this locker room that need checks to be cut. But I think they believe Tua is the guy to lead them there. And obviously the biggest argument against Tua, one of them, is, he's a system quarterback. It's the McDaniel offense, the Shanahan offense, the playmakers, da-da-da-da-da. All of that is so irrelevant because he is in this system. Who cares if you're a system quarterback if you're playing in the system? Like that, we're overthinking it here. For this system, there is no better quarterback to run it. They believe in Tua, and they are ready to go forward in the 2024 season.
Marcel, he's 1,000% a system quarterback. There's no doubt in my mind. Here's my question to you, because you and I have known each other a long time, and it's not my style to pocket watch anybody. However, I was shocked to see that the Dolphins paid him, and here's why. With that system, with all those stars you mentioned in that locker room, I thought for sure they could hit the free agent market when the time was necessary and overpay for someone who they thought maybe could get them over the hump. Maybe. Brother, I had Shedeur Sanders in Miami. I thought maybe they could draft a kid, reset, the in terms of contract, paying the quarterback, and get someone in there for that system that could get it done. Let me ask you personally, as someone who covered Josh Allen for as long as you did, that guy, any system, any field, anytime, any place, is a stud. When you watched Tua, were you shocked? Were you personally shocked that he got the bag, Marcel?
Oh, absolutely not. And I'm not just saying this because I don't want Dolphins fans at my doorstep. When you think of the question I keep hearing phrased, right? Like, will the Dolphins regret this? What's the alternative? The alternative is going quarterback hunting again. It's the least admirable or like the least desirable position in sports is quarterback hunting. You hate doing that. Teams wallow in misery for decades looking for the guy. Look at the Cleveland Browns. Look at where they had to stoop in order to find a guy they think is a franchise quarterback. Like, that's what QB hunting will do to you. So absolutely not. I'm not surprised he got the bag. This was the right move. How bad is Tua going to have to be for them to regret doing this over hitting the reset button? They have spent too much money. They have allocated too many assets, traded too many first-round picks for this team that is built to win right now to start over at the most important position. They know that they've got a guy who is at worst serviceable. He's a starting quarterback, and we could go back and forth all day about that. But at worst, Tua Tagovailoa is a starting quarterback in the NFL. That itself is hard to find. He has flashes where he's a plus starter, an above average, a great starter in the NFL. That's hard to find. Is he going to be a demigod, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, running around Justin Herbert from a physical talent standpoint? No, but that's fine. Like, if the bar was demigod or bust, a lot of quarterbacks would be out of work in the NFL right now. So I'm not shocked that he got the bag. I'm not shocked that they pay him. I'm a little surprised at how long it took. But, I mean, their other options are, assume Dallas doesn't pay Dak and go pay him 60. I'd rather give Tua 53 a year, 53.1 a year, rather than give Dak 60. I don't want to wait around for Kirk Cousins either. And then what? You're getting into Gardner Minshew territory. You're going to ask Case Keenum to come play? Like, there's not a lot of good other options, and they're going to be too good to draft what is a pretty shallow quarterback class next year. And Tua is far better. I don't care about the cost benefit. He is far better than any rookie coming out next year. So no, I think this was the right move. They feel strongly about it. I agree. I know, I don't want to get the Homer accusations from the New England crowd, but logically speaking, this was the right move.
You're going to get that no matter what. Exactly. And it was the timing of it, I think, is brilliant because when Dak gets paid, he will get $60 million a year. It'll be ridiculous, but the cap will go up. When Brock Purdy gets paid, I got my Purdy shirt. I wish I was wearing it because, again, is he a game manager? Yes. But do they execute one of the best systems in the NFL? Brock Purdy and Tua Tagovailoa I'm talking about? Yes. I got to add, too, for people to get the bag, if being a hater gets you the bag, Travis would be retiring tomorrow on a beach in the south of Italy. So it doesn't matter to that. Marcel, I do want to ask, now let's talk about Tyreek a little more, though. They give him that more money, but don't add years. That's a unique situation. What's the thinking and the thought process there in Miami behind this with Tua going into his age 30 season, coming off his best career year, one of the best players in the NFL, but to give him more guaranteed money but not add on any years?
Yeah, this is how you keep your stars happy, right? Like Jerry Jones, take note. Cincy Bengals, take note. This is how you keep your stars happy. They didn't have to do this. They didn't have to pay him. He was under contract for 2 more years. Like there was no reason to, other than the fact that they said, look, you have outperformed an already sizable contract. We already agreed to a 4-year, $120 million extension with you, and you've outplayed that. And not only have you outplayed that, the wide receiver market has outperformed that contract as well, has surpassed that contract as well. So like it's really just incredible work from both sides. Rarely do you see like a true win-win, right, in the NFL and sports in general, but like a true win-win. The Dolphins keep their guy happy, and they give him the most guaranteed money, fully guaranteed money in NFL history for a wide receiver. So you can wear that crown as, in a sense, the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history in terms of guaranteed money. But they do it without resetting the market. They do it without going past the Justin Jefferson deal or whatever CD and Jamar Chase are going to do. Like they didn't add anything onto the deal from that standpoint. And then from Tyreek's perspective, like now I feel valued by this organization that I have balled out for the past 2 years. Because let me tell you something. As Chris Perkins, he works for the South Florida Sun Sentinel here. It's one of my favorite quotes of his. I say it a lot when I do radio. This offense is about two things: Tyreek Hill and the threat of Tyreek Hill. If he is not on the field, the Miami Dolphins are not the same. And that doesn't matter how good Tua is, how good Waddle is. Like that, it doesn't take anything away from them. Tyreek is just that good that if you take him off the field, the entire offense changes. So good on both sides for getting that thing done. No drama. He insisted, I don't want to be traded. This is about as smooth of a situation, as smooth as a contract demand as you could possibly ask for out of a superstar like that.
So it's Marcel Louis-Jacques of ESPN, Dolphins beat reporter. Go to Foxborough Rush and check out the full interview with him. He's great, man. Trav, real quick, how do you know him?
Oh, man, we met. I used to produce for Dominique Foxworth. I don't know if you remember him, former NFL corner, Maryland Terp. He did a TV show, and I was a producer for it. So one of my roles, as many producers in our industry, is to book guests. And so, Marcel was one of the guests we used to book all the time, and he and I just built a report from that. I'd ask him to come on my radio show. He'd do it. TV, he'd do it. He's a gamer. He's like you, RGB. He works hard, and he's a gamer. Anytime you need him for anything, just throw the bat signal up, and he's always there when I call. And then, over time, you develop a friendship.
Yeah, of course. Nah, he's a man. I followed him back to his Buffalo days, and I met him.
Yep.
My first game I covered, it was Patriots Dolphins. It was a home game, and I saw him. We're in line getting the food. I'm like, oh, Marcel Louis-Jacques, what's up? He's tall as hell.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know how tall they are on the Twitter, but I was like, he's tallish. I'm just a typical short reporter. I'm 5'7", 5'7.5". Marcel looks like he could be a hooper, though, if you wanted to. But, it was cool talking with them. I think the Dolphins, their outlook is if they can get better injury luck, because they were so banged up at the end of the year. Jalen Phillips, done. We'll see if Bradley Chubb and Phillips are ready to go week one. Their offensive line, and he spoke about in the interview, too, which you could get on the full episode of Foxborough Rush, of how banged up the offensive line is, like Teron Armstead.
Yep.
Another team that's been super unlucky this offseason, it's been the Minnesota Vikings with their injuries. Jordan Addison, well, let's start with him, his offseason. He gets a DUI, so we'll see the suspension he faces. But then starting cornerback Mekhi Blackmore tears his ACL first day of practice. Other starting quarterback, Shaquille Griffin, he gets hurt in practice. J.J. McCarthy out for the season after meniscus surgery that ended it. Jordan Addison got carted off the field. They said it's not serious, but no matter what, man, getting carted off the field, not a good thing. It's weird for the Vikings. I think for J.J., it sucks he won't get hurt, but he truly can just redshirt this year. Obviously, he will, and learn the game, learn the system, learn the speed, and just let Sam Darnold take care of it. But, man, the Vikings, it's not been good with the injuries they've had this offseason.
No, it hasn't. But I'll say this, not to poo-poo the J.J. McCarthy injury, but coming into the season, they're kind of in the same boat as the Patriots. You really knew Sam Darnold would be QB1, and then it was just a matter of how long until you turn the keys over to the rookie. So it's not like they're dealing with a situation where it's like, if a Caleb Williams got hurt or Jaden Daniels got hurt. Like, they already were rolling with Sam Darnold. They already were trying to get him ready to be QB1 and then bring J.J. McCarthy along. So now it's a redshirt year for sure, right? It's like, all right, bro, get healthy, stay in your playbook, stay on your game tape, and then we'll try it next year and see what we got. Obviously the kid's so young, George. You would think he's going to come back and be fine. And, oh, by the way, whoever's playing quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, Sam Darnold, you, me, baby Luka, just throw the ball to Justin Jefferson. The end. That's it. It ain't rocket science.
Hey, we'll see how happy Jets is. I know he got paid, but it's going to be tough getting the football thrown his way. Let's go glass half full for Vikings. All these injuries, you got J.J. McCarthy, you signed Darisaw, you signed Justin Jefferson. They might end up with a top 5, top 7 pick in this upcoming draft and just get a top prospect and go with that. Well, let's go through them. I'm thinking how bad the Vikings got it. I think of how bad the Dolphins were with injuries last year.
Yep.
If you thought about unlucky teams, and you could do this by any criteria as well. If you had to go unlucky team, who would you say are the most unlucky teams in sports history? Let's go all sports here.
Oh, well, listen, I'm just going football because it's on my brain here. I'll give you one from my childhood, and I'll give you one from adulthood where I lost a lot of money. From my childhood, I think back to the Oilers. Those teams with Warren Moon were lit, bro, like early 90s. Warren Moon was putting up all kinds of video game numbers. If he played nowadays, he would have been an even bigger deal because he was putting up numbers that we see quarterbacks do now. Him and Dan Marino both were putting up numbers that we see from quarterbacks now in a passing league where you can't even sneeze on a quarterback without a flag. Back in those days when quarterbacks used to get hit, I mean blasted, okay? Warren Moon was putting up those kind of numbers, and the Oilers every single stinking year would win all kinds of regular season games, get in the playoffs, and blow it. It finally felt like it was their time. They had the Bills on the ropes, and then some backup named Frank Wright came in because Jim Kelly got hurt, and then literally the Bills came back and beat the Oilers. I'll never forget it. Me and my mom and my dad watched it together. We were all going nuts. So that's one of the most unlucky teams I've ever seen. And then we know the rest of the Oilers history into the Texans and everything else. As far as the grown-up version of me, I lost a lot of money with the Falcons. Okay? Like all my money. I thought the Falcons team speed was too much for the Patriots. Boy, was I right for the first half. And then, just like clockwork, Tom Brady, the GOAT, happened, right? And we know the rest of that story. The Falcons have never recovered from 28-3, nor will they. I think with Matthew Judon and Kirk Cousins, they will win that crappy division. And then they're going to do what Kirk Cousins always does. They'll host a playoff game, and they'll lose. I don't care who it is. Rams, Cowboys, Eagles, doesn't matter. Whoever's going to come in their building and beat their ass because they are cursed from 28-3.
Hey, Kirk Cousins is a change, man. I think he'll do good. I'll pick him to beat the Rams in those matchups, even the Eagles. I'll believe it until I see it with Nick Sirianni. I went different on this one. So I'll start with the Chargers being unlucky, but it all comes down to one thing. They picked Ryan Leaf over Peyton effing Manning. That's it. They did all their scouting, they did all their homework, and they picked the biggest bust in draft history next to Jamarcus Russell over a Hall of Famer and the second best quarterback to ever play the game. And then same note, I go Trailblazers, bro. Sam Bowie right after Hakeem the Dream and one pick before Michael Jordan. And then when they have a pick again, they go Greg Oden over Kevin Durant. They're unlucky. And then I go Knicks. This is actual luck. This isn't being, an idiot. This is actual bad luck. Steph Curry got picked one pick before their pick in the draft. They go with Jordan Hill. And they could have even, maybe gotten DeMar DeRozan or Drew Holiday. Nope, they got Jordan Hill, who was traded his rookie season. To me, those are the unluckiest teams. I was just looking at drafts and who messed up the worst. The Blazers, bro, you can't beat that. Missed on Jordan and Kevin Durant. Yeah. Again, two Hall of Famers, the greatest player of all time and the greatest scorer of all time.
That's insane. I will defend Ryan Leaf slightly. I got to tell you, I mean, I was one of those people. I thought Ryan Leaf was going to hit, and I thought Peyton Manning would just be okay. I didn't think he would be a bust. I certainly didn't see what happened. Peyton Manning could not beat Florida in college. Everyone just glosses over this. Every single stinking time. And Tennessee was a better team, too. He could never beat Florida. Swamp, at home, it didn't matter. Florida owned him, and I thought that guy's not going to work in the NFL in big games. And then Ryan Leaf, meanwhile, bigger, stronger, I thought had a stronger arm. He had the swag. He took a school no one even cared about and put him in a Rose Bowl. I mean, this guy, I still believe, George, if not for bad decision-making and Shaq for brains, Ryan Leaf would have worked. But in the end, you can't really argue for him now, can you?
Well, yeah, you're going with better decision-making and without, having better brains. I mean, he had it. That's him.
Right.
And that's the thing when you look back on these picks, like, well, yeah, if he was with a better brain and better decision-making, he would have been Peyton Manning.
Right.
He would have been Peyton Manning. That's it. It's not like, well, that guy wasn't in the draft.
Yeah.
He was staring you in the face. He was staring you in the eyes. And you pick Ryan Leaf. And then we could just go into that, the fact that you were so bad, Eli said, I don't want to play for you. And then you got stuck with Phillip Rivers, who was good, but it was still Phillip Rivers, who never won the big game and was never that successful, which put up gaudy numbers. Yeah. All right, that brings an end to this episode of Boston has entered the chat. He's Travis Thomas in the PNC Bank studio. I'm George Balekji, host, holding a remote. I actually hear Luca crying behind me, so I'm going to get back to my nephew to help him out. But thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, like, subscribe, rate, review, wherever you get your podcast. We're on YouTube. Nest and YouTube, hit subscribe there. Go to our playlists and go to our podcast as well to find all the episodes. And then go to Twitch, YouTube.com/Nesson as well. Hit the subscribe button there. He's Double T. I'm GB. We'll see you guys on Monday.